What's up, guys? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. Welcome to Accountability Monday. That doesn't have such the roll off of my tongue as my What Sold Wednesday does, but I am here with resellers Bri and Liz. We just lost Christina. I was talking to her a minute ago, so we'll see if she hops back on or not. But welcome. We talk all things reselling on this. It does get turned into a podcast. If you don't want to look at our faces, you just want to listen to what we have to say. So you can join. The link is down in the description if you would like to listen to this via podcast, but it is a live every single Monday. It is open to anybody who would like to come on. So sometimes I ask people, sometimes people ask to come on. If you are interested in coming on, definitely send me a DM and we will get it all set up. So welcome. As we wait for people to hop on, I'm all about shameless self-promotion on these Monday calls. It's as much about my YouTube channel as it is about you guys and kind of giving you guys some promotion, as well as the people who are in the chat and maybe are a little bit shy and don't want to come on YouTube or just haven't had time. So if you are in the chat, feel free to leave your Instagram handles, PoshMark Closet, eBay, whatever it is. Nothing too spammy. I'm trusting that you guys are just giving links that are relevant. But I will go ahead and we'll start with Bri. She will introduce herself. And I just want to say she is one of the sweetest people. I feel like we're best buddies. I've never actually met her. And I feel like that's a lot of resellers in the world right now because of COVID, right? Also, she's in another state. But she sent me, oh my goodness. Sorry. She sent me a Starbucks gift card for my birthday last weekend. And I just feel like she's just so kind and sweet. So I will let her introduce herself. And so tell us a little bit about your reselling journey, if you're part-time, full-time, where you sell on, anything else, I don't know, relevant that you would like us to know.
I'm Bri. I sell on PoshMark, eBay, and Mercari. Mostly PoshMark, but I dabble with the others a little bit. I started in December 2016, dropped some dresses off and hightailed it out because I got scared. But I came back in 2017, in August 2017, and stayed. And I'm part-time. Well, my husband calls it part full-time. He's like, you work on it a lot, but not enough to be a full-time seller. So he's like, you spend enough time that you're almost full-time.
I feel like, this is a hard loaded question because it's, do we spend full-time hours? Because then I think almost any reseller is full-time. Like we all spend a ton of hours. I think of it more of, do you have other source of income? Right. So, yeah. Right. Like if this is your only source of income, or like for me, my other job is children. And you don't get paid for that. So like it's kind of full time in that sense. So do you have another source of income job, or are you, because you have children, are you home with the kids? And
I'm home, but only because of COVID. So I do insurance during the day. So this gives me a nice creative outlet to get to be creative and do something fun and not so boring all day.
Like what? Like you're in insurance?
But insurance is very boring.
Well, because I think it could be interesting. Like actuaries, I think I'm math, but actuaries are like, I think it's really interesting. And I think there's aspects of insurance. So are you like an insurance agent, or are you like processing and?
Right. Yeah. So I do escrow analyst. So kind of like the just input stuff and call the agents and stuff. So no, not so fun, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I've done it nice for 20 years, so it's fine.
Yeah, and it's nice that you can have it as a side hustle, another outlet for. So we'll get into it because you do sell on multiple platforms. I'm going to have a couple questions, and we'll see if people in the chat do as well. Liz, why don't you introduce yourself? And not on purpose, but they're actually both from Houston. And we had Christina here, but I lost her. She's a Cali girl, so I don't know if she's going to join back or not. I didn't see her picture when she came on. So Liz, I will let you introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Liz, curated threads on Instagram and threads by Liz, my Posh Closet. I sell mainly on Posh, some Mercari, and I tried eBay, but I kind of got scared, so I didn't go back. I'm thinking about going back, but not right now. I've been selling for almost 2 years, well, a little over 2 years, and really like on it this January. I do it part-time. I'm a police dispatcher in the Houston area, full-time. So right now my hours are like 6 to 2. So I get to come home. I have 3 kids online learning at home. So I come home and try to help them out. But that's kind of like the end of their day. Do dinner, and then I say, I'm going to go Posh, so they know I'm going to be in here working. So I do feel like it's full time, but on my downtime at work, I'm waiting for grocery pickup or something. I'm like busy poshing. So it just kind of makes it easy because you can do it online.
Yeah, and on your phone too, right? Like
Yep.
It's not even just on a computer. Like you can do it on your phone.
Yes.
And PoshMark eBay, you can use on a phone. And I actually read a stat today that like 70% of eBay users use the app. But that's got to be buyers because you can't do anything on eBay on the app. But PoshMark was meant for an app, right? So there's so much more that you could do on the app than you can do on the phone. So you guys both have kids at home. Is it your remote learning, right? You have kids. How are you doing that? You have 3 children. Bri, you have 2?
I have 3, but only 1 in school at the house. So
okay. Okay,
they're
so I was
older.
close.
they're all older. They're all teenagers. So I mean, I'm in the office downstairs, and Jalen's just behind me in her desk. So I hear all the teachers all day long.
Yes. And the teachers have a way of messaging us through our phone. So they're like, make sure she signs on, make sure do this. So I'm constantly, messaging them. So it's not that hard. We're kind of used to it now. They've been doing it for 7 weeks.
How old are your kids? Because are your kids older?
I have older kids. I have a college kid, and he's home now. He's going to a local college right now. And then I have a 17-year-old, 11-year-old, and an 8-year-old. But they're pretty self-sufficient, so they don't need so much help.
I would think, so their 8-year-old probably, well, I don't know, maybe an 8-year-old is pretty self-sufficient, but he probably needs the most help. So I'm remote learning too. A 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a special needs 14-year-old. So they all need significant help. My 5-year-old's actually more self-sufficient than the 14-year-old is at the time. But it's hard and it's a struggle. So it is nice. So you guys are both able to work from home for your full-time job, right? So that you can be there, which is, well, no, Liz, because you're a dispatcher. So you're going in. So is your husband home?
Well, he works shift work. So we kind of take turns. And then my college kid, he's here. Not really helpful, but he's here sometimes. But my 17 or 16-year-old, she's the one that helps with everything.
Oh, that's nice. Christina, welcome. Thanks for joining. Oh, no worries.
Sorry.
No worries. It happens. This is the nature of doing live videos. People drop in and out. Things happen. Sometimes I say stuff that I'm like, probably shouldn't have said that. But it is live, and this is what happens. So, Christina, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit, tell us who you are and how you got into reselling, where you're at in the journey, and what you sell, where you sell on, what platforms.
Sure. So I'm Christina. I actually just gave birth to a set of twins in June. Before I gave birth, I was a Montessori school kindergarten teacher. After giving birth, I was home, bored, always loved going thrifting. I think I just do that naturally. So I was like, how can I make money and do it, now that I'm home with the kids? So I've been watching so many YouTube videos and just learning about reselling. So here I am. Like, I just listed 3 things on Poshmark like maybe a week ago, and one thing actually sold.
Yay, that's how they do.
Yeah.
I swear it's in their algorithm, and tell me if you guys have the similar experience. You list something and it sells within a week because they want to get you hooked. Did you guys? Yeah. So they got you, Christina.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited for the journey.
I love that. My younger kids actually go to a Montessori school. And Yeah, we love it. It starts with preschool and it goes up. They actually are just extending it to middle school. And we're remote learning. And I was a little nervous, like, I mean, Montessori, like how do you do Montessori remote, right? But I really love it because they're not big on, especially for the younger age, they're not big on screens. And we're picking up materials once a week. They're sending materials home. And yeah. So it's been
fun.
Do you think you'll go back? I mean, you have your hands full, but eventually do you think that you'll go back to it, or?
I think eventually as the kids get older, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's kind of nice once they're in school to be on their schedule too, right?
I bet. Yes.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to twins.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
congratulations to twins. I guess, I don't know. I just can't imagine. But if that's all you know, that's all you know, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. There's a couple things that, Christina, you touched on learning on YouTube, and I was chatting with another reseller this week about, did you learn on YouTube, and are you, like, a lot of people just get into it and start doing it, or they've been thrifting their whole life, and then I see another subset of people that are like Christina and are like, I want to get into it. I'm going to binge watch all these YouTube videos and learn that way. And so, Christina, that's how you learned. Bri and Liz, how did you guys kind of like get into it and start? It's amazing all of the content out there that you can learn if you want to, or do you just jump in and hope for the best?
That one. I kind of I was like, I have all these dresses in my closet that I'm never going to wear again. I've worn them once. I'm not wearing them again. So that's why I list them. And it was kind of like hobby-ish in the beginning. And then I found Solange Mina's YouTube on the app, on PoshMark app. And so I was like, let's watch a couple of these. So I watched some of those, and I was like, let's watch other people's while I'm listing items, early on. And so I watched a few. I didn't watch a ton because I didn't want to be like overwhelmed, but yeah, I did watch a few.
It's amazing, all the content that's out there. Liz, how about you?
Well, I started cleaning out my kids' closets. I have 4 kids, so I have an abundance of clothes. So, like every summer you go clean out closets, and I'm like, I seen it, maybe an ad pop up for Poshmark, maybe on social media. So I'm like, let me see what this is about. And I was iffy because I didn't know how to do the shipping. I'm like, am I going to pay for it? How is this going to work out?
Mm-hmm.
But I listed my kids' a few items, and that same day I sold a bundle, and I was so excited. And now looking back at it, I practically gave it away.
Sure.
But it was fun, and I would just do it off and on. I did watch a lot of videos afterwards whenever I thought, this clothes is selling. I didn't really thrift a lot, but years ago I used to love going to garage sales, going to yard sales. Back then they used to make it they used to put in the papers, so every once in a while we'd go out, and it was just so fun, just go on a Saturday morning. So I always kind of thrifted in some way. But there is a lot of content. I am a fan of you, Sarah. I used to joke with my kids and said, well, my friend Sarah said this.
We're totally friends, girl. Well, so, you can show them now. We're best buddies now.
Yeah, now we're best friends.
I love it. It's amazing, all of the content out there. And I had something I was going to say, and then you said we were best friends, and I got all excited. Oh, you were talking about, like, when you started, you were a new seller and you kind of gave it away. And I feel like I did that. We probably all, like, you're just excited, right? You're like, I put something on, I'm selling it, and you're not really like thinking so much about like how much money you're making, right? That kind of comes later for most people. And there's nothing wrong with it, but that's kind of how we all are. And I was thinking today, just driving in the car, because that's like the only time I get to myself to think, there's an abundance of new sellers with everything that's happening during the pandemic, right? It's so many more people. I think eBay said they had more new users come on in quarter 2 than all of the combined previous 6 quarters. So there's like so many new people that are online shopping, but then also selling. And these sellers are giving stuff away for free, right? Like they're clearing out their closet, they've lost their jobs, they don't know how it all works. And so I'm noticing a lot. I was thinking about this because I'm noticing a lot from my perspective, a lot of like lower offers, or like my average sale price is kind of declining. And I think that probably has a lot to do with it, because you're getting so many new sellers that are kind of suppressing us old folks that have been doing it, not like old in age, but just like people that have been around for a while who do it for a living. So I don't know, have you guys noticed any of that? Am I just talking out of my head, or are you noticing? You're new, so Christina, right? She's new and trying to get into it. So I'm wondering, the market's getting saturated, and are you guys noticing lower offers and stuff like that?
Sometimes like last week or so, they were really like reasonable offers. So I was like, yep, I'll accept those. We'll take it. Let's go.
So tell me, am I the only one who's like, I got an offer and mentally in my head, I'm like, this is the lowest that I'll accept. And then it's higher than that. And I'm like, what?
Yes. I love when I get offers. And actually it happened this week. And I'm like calculating, because I love to give discount shipping, because about 95% of my sales happen because I give that discount shipping. And I make sales like that all the time. So that's something for new sellers. I'll get messages on PoshMark. I'm always willing to help. I have the time, because like I said, you can do it on your phone. So people do reach out and they're like, oh, you got a great closet. And they think I'm like this pro. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm just giving them tips. But
you do have a very pretty closet.
Thank you.
Your pictures are really clean and crisp. No, I'm serious. If you guys are new to reselling, or even old people, I think we can. I need to quit saying old people. Just people who've been reselling for a while. I was looking. I've looked at your closet, and it is very clean and crisp. And pictures, when you're selling online, like pictures is one of the big things, because they can't physically see it. So you have to pull people in with that. And you definitely have a really clean, crisp closet.
Thank you. Now, if you go back to when I started, my pictures weren't like that. My pictures were not like that.
Yeah, I think that's the majority of us. So Margaret is saying, if you guys don't know Margaret, she just sold a Patagonia chinchilla for $75 that I bought yesterday from Plato's for $16. Lots of low offers, but $75 was a number I had in my head. It probably depends on, from my experience with selling those, it depends on like the style and the colors. Some of them go really low, and like some of certain colors go really high. So I'm wondering what made it unique, because I've sold them for lower than that. I'm also like just get it out of my house. Like I don't want to hoard on to stuff. So Christina, you just listed your first stuff. Let's talk a little bit about accountability. And I think this is a great panel, because we have a newbie, and then we have people that have been doing it part-time, full-time, everything. So let's talk about accountability, what you worked on last week, kind of what one of your big successes from last week was, reselling successes. And then we'll get into kind of what we're going to be working on in the future.
So I actually took a course. I took Nicole States course, because I wanted to know if I was doing it the right way and how to. And I didn't just want to go on and not know what I was doing. And it's a lot of, you can go on and it's kind of self-explanatory. It tells you what to do, like how to list it, the pictures and all. But I just wanted to get a little more detailed information. So I took her course, and then I felt a little more secure about it. So after I finished the course, that's when I did my 3 listings, and I listed 3 items. One item that I listed, I got an offer, and I just accepted it right away, because I was so excited that I got an offer, and I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm just going to let them have it. Even though it wasn't what I priced it for, I priced the item. It was actually like some new UGG boots, and I think I priced it for $80, and I ended up giving it for $50. But I was like, you know what? I don't use them. They're just gonna sit in my closet. I wanna like start this. Why don't I just start off like let them have their, just go with it. So going forward, I wanna be more goal orientated. So I want to like, I don't just want to give stuff away. I mean, I'm fairly new, so it's kind of fun. And, when you get offers, you're just like so excited and you just want to like give it away. But I want to try to make this, something that I can do. So I want to at least try to list 5 items a week with twin newborns. It's a lot to do, but I want to try to at least list 5 items a week. That's my goal going forward.
Yeah, and I think it's great to have a goal too, and then you can check back in and pivot. And I think being realistic about it as well. I thought you were going to say 5 a day with newborn twins, and I was like, girl.
No. Yeah.
So I think, are you mostly doing stuff out of your closet, or you said you're getting into thrifting? Are stores in California open?
I have so much stuff in my closet. I want to start there first. I do go thrifting every week because it's just a part of my outlet, something that I just do for myself. And if I find something, I'll pick it up. But I want to start at home first. I have so much stuff. So like, why don't I just start listing from home, make it easy for myself, and then go from there?
Is amazing, and it's amazing to have inventory. I think I'm the one reseller who struggles with enough inventory. Not one, there's probably a couple of us, but I feel like most resellers have too much inventory and never have enough time to list it. And I'm like, I can't find time to get inventory. I get it and I list it. But I have kids at home remote learning, and I haven't been thrifting in like forever. Yeah. Bri, what was your week like? What were your big successes? I'm going to do one more shout out because I love her Instagram too. She's been doing the cutest reels. And so I do a level up social media tip once a week. And one of them a couple weeks ago was reels because it's new to Instagram. And this goes for anything, Poshmark, eBay, any like thing. If it's new, jump on it because that platform is going to be giving you much more exposure because they want you using it, right? And Bryce definitely got on that bandwagon. She had, because your reels come up, like I see you on my feed all the time with your reels, and she's doing. I've tried to do the pointing thing and I can't get coordinated.
It's so hard.
And you have to.
You have no idea how many videos I've had in my phone trying to get one reel to go. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have like 40 short videos to make one 15-second reel. Like,
yeah. Well, I love them, and it's working because I'm seeing yours, and I'm assuming you're probably getting a lot of views on them, because Instagram is
not as much as I've heard other people are getting. I'm like, but it's okay. I'm still.
It is giving you good. It is giving you good exposure, and I do like it, and I aspire to be there because I have tried and you have to plan it so far in advance, and
especially in the music, you have to like the one I did yesterday was the Yup Nope song.
Yeah,
I had to edit that video a little bit. I was like, okay, let's cut this back a little. Okay, so it was a lot of adjusting for that song in particular.
I did watch that one, and I was like, how did she? Because you're like asking, like right on point too. Yeah, I'm not that coordinated.
It's hard.
All right, so definitely she is heels in the gym. And I'm going to take it back a step because you didn't say that in your intro why it's heels in the gym, because I just found out, like I knew you were into fitness, but I didn't know the extent of it. And I know there's quite a few people in the chat too that are into fitness as well. So I want to hear why it's heels in the gym.
So 8 years ago, about 8 years ago, I did 2 fitness competitions, bodybuilding competitions, which is rare for me because I'm super awkward and super shy and have massive anxiety. So for me, it was like the what's that word? Where you do something, bucket list. It was a bucket list thing for me. So I was like, if I can do this at 32 years old, so it was 10 years ago, and have 2 kids and have a full-time job, if I can prepare for that, then okay. So I had like an accountability page on Facebook. So my friend came up with a name for me. She's like, oh, Hills in the Gym, because you're getting ready in the gym to compete in Hills on the stage. So I was like, oh, that's cute. I'll use that. Well, fast forward 4 years ago, whatever it was. And I used it. I kept it for my Poshmark And I was like, well, I mean, I sell gym wear, I sell daytime clothes, I sell evening clothes, going out formal clothes. So I was like, it's a hodgepodge. So it still kind of fits because it's from hills to the gym or gym to the hills, whichever way you want to look at it. So I was like, it still fits. And it's a brand name. I mean,
no, and it's cute. It like catches your attention. When I first saw you on Instagram, I was like, that is the cutest name in the world. I loved it. I don't wear heels anymore because I'm an old lady.
I definitely don't wear
heels. But fast forward to 10 years ago, I was wearing heels. Maybe not at the gym though. I don't think I ever.
No, definitely not in the gym. People ask me that all the time. They're like, so you wear heels in the gym? And I'm like, no, that's dangerous. Don't try that. Like,
but did you actually
on words?
I mean, on that, did you actually have, because in the competition, you're just walking around in the heels, but you probably have to do some kind of like practice, because I've watched some of them and there's like different poses and they're walking without slipping and right. Like it's intense. So you probably had to, yeah.
I did. I had to with my trainer in the gym, which was super awkward. Yeah. I already don't like attention on me anyway. Hello. But he's like, okay, we're going to do this now. Today's, like walking day. And I'm like, in here in the gym where there's people working out? He's like, oh yeah, let's go. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, you're going to be on stage. All these people watching. I'm like, yeah, but I won't be able to see them because there'll be lights and things.
Right. And I don't have to come back tomorrow and see the same people again. Right. Like you're at the gym. Yeah.
They see me working out here. I mean, this is a little awkward, but I mean,
Leslie is saying that you have the best smile. If you guys don't follow her reseller passion, she's the best. But that's so sweet. You do have. I love the laughter and the. Okay, so we said that, but then I feel like there was a question. Oh, your success for the week. So what were you working on this week, and what were your successes?
All the way across the board, or just reselling?
I mean, generally reselling, but if there's something big, feel free to share it with us. I'm all about supporting everyone.
Well, I had set a goal for myself to try and list daily, at least during the week. And last week I did not hit that goal. So I did get my descriptions and measurements done while I was working today. So I have to take those pictures when I get done. So I did at least do that. So I got back on the track. So it's not like I fell off and I was like, I'm never doing this again. I was like, all right, start over. It's a new week. It's a fresh week. We can start fresh. So I did get that part done while I was working. So I will get those pictures done when we get off of here.
I think that's a very valid thing, because it is hard to make those, like, we're not always going to smash our goals all the time. And it is important to be able to like give yourself a little bit of grace and say it's okay, and how you get started in doing it again, right? Life happens. Full-time, part-time, side hustle, whatever it is, life happens. It's good to get back into it. Angie is saying, Rye has helped me with the listing challenge. Best motivation partner. Is this like just the two of you are doing it, or you're doing like a listing challenge for everyone?
So I did it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, all right, I was getting serious about listing again, on a pretty regular basis, at least during the week. And I said, who wants to do this challenge with me? And so she signed up, and a couple other people did. And she goes, hey, I have a lot more stuff to list. Can we keep going? I was like, let's keep going. Let's just keep doing this. And we did. And then last week I kind of like.
Well, now she's there to motivate you to get back. Yeah.
Right.
I know. I started a listing challenge like when I was feeling unmotivated. I don't know how long it was. And it stayed a chat with all the people that we've done, but it's not like it's more just like we're all doing this together. Let's maybe kind of say our accountability, not so much a listing challenge. But it's amazing because you can have, as we stay home, it's COVID times, but then also the nature of being a reseller is very isolating. So it's amazing to have that outlet on social media. It's part of why I do these chats, because this is like my weekly staff meeting. Like, what did you guys do this week? And you give me ideas, and then I usually walk away from this with like, that was a great, like, I'm going to implement that into my business. All right, Liz, what did you work on this week? What were your big successes?
I had taken up my calendar and I wrote down, I wanted to list 5 items a day. So I started Friday. So every day I've been listing 5 to 7 items. I just have an issue. I like to source, but then I hate lifting. It kind of just piles up, and I'm like, wait, I had these sweaters I bought like 3 weeks ago. Where'd they go? So I have noticed an increase in sales because I'm listing consistently. So like this weekend, I had great sales. There's some days I go and I have nothing. So I notice sales coming in. I've been getting offers. I sold something that had been sitting in my closet for over a year. So I'm listing this new stuff, but I see people checking out stuff that has been in my closet. So because of my increase, I'm going to keep going and try to list, maybe next week, I'm thinking about going 7 to 8 items a day. I have the inventory. It's so hard. It's so hard to list.
Well, yeah, because you're not poshing until you've had a full day of work, a full day of momming, and then at night, like, that's intense.
Right. And I like to make drafts. I use that a lot. So that way, whenever I'm at work, I pull out my paper and I have like measurements and everything. So I'll just type it in really quick and list it. So I'm slowly listing. I don't list all at once. I'm slowly listing throughout the day. But whenever I do, I notice, I know how to make the sales. It's just so hard to, make myself do it.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time. And so I think this is a really valid point for everyone that's on the chat, and hopefully people that are listening too, is staying consistent is hard. We're all moms, newborns, and then you guys both have full-time jobs and kids remote learning. So let's talk a little bit of like tips. You mentioned doing drafts, but maybe some other things that you guys are doing during the week, on the weekends, whatever it is, to try and stay consistent. You mentioned drafts, but are there other things that you guys do to try and stay consistent, motivated, and be able to make it a little bit easier when you've had a long day?
So for me, I pull from right here. This is inventory that hasn't been listed yet. So the night before, like tonight, when I get done with those pictures, I will pull 10 items and set them on my rack behind me here. And then in the morning, when I start work, my day job, I will grab that stack of 10 and I'll take it downstairs with me. And when I have time during the day, I'll write up my descriptions and my measurements, and I'll get the drafts going, either with a stock photo or just like a quick snapshot of what the item is. So when I come and do my pictures, then when I'm done taking all 10 pictures, I can go back downstairs and edit them and list them throughout the night. So kind of like it's batch work in a smaller version.
That makes sense. And I do that. Sorry, I'm asking the chat questions. I do that too in like a huge scale. I take all, like I'm going to take this back because I want to have full disclosure so people know this. I pay someone to list for me. So I take that out because I cannot be consistent without it. I hate listing. I'm terrible at it. It's not something that I can do with the kids around. And so I could never be consistent. I can take pictures. They need me, come back, and then just pick back up. But when I was listing, it was really hard. Or I would like put something in wrong because I can hear a kid yelling in the background. So I'm going to say that. So you guys don't think that I'm more of a superwoman than I am. I do pay someone to list, but I take all the photos, and I just I will take a day and just crank out as many photos. Like I have probably 3 to 4 weeks worth of photos right now, so that I can continue to do it and I can work on other things. I am a huge proponent of batch work because I think it is. You have everything set up and you're not spending, even if it's like, okay, it only takes me 2 minutes to set up my photo area. Well, 2 minutes times 5 times a week, that's 10 minutes times a full month, that's 40 minutes, right? So I'm definitely a proponent of batch work. Liz, you do drafts. What other
I do drafts, and just like Bree mentioned, like this rack right here, it's on new stuff. So I like to make sure, it's pressed. Well, I steam it, make sure there's no like heavy wrinkles. And whatever's here, I've already took pictures. It just needs to be listed. And then I kind of do a sheet, a printout sheet, which I have it right here. And it has measurements. And that way I take this to work with me and I can list throughout the day. But that's what I do. That's what I notice that if I put them in these pretty hangers, it's more motivation for me to, like, they're ready to, get their picture taken. And then after I list them, that's whenever I inventory them, which is like the box in the bag, but I got stuff in the closet and everywhere else. It's not this
well,
organized.
It's very nice and organized in your phone.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, chaos drives me nuts, but it's not always like this. It's not always like this. So I'm just trying to bump up my sales. One of my big goals, I don't make thousands of dollars. This part-time. Now, do I wish I can do it full-time? Yes. Goals. But I want to slowly get into liquidation pallets. I see a lot of videos on that all the time. So it's just exciting. Now, I wouldn't be thinking about this if I weren't hitting my goals and making money, but I make enough where I think I can buy one and make profit.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's intense. It's intense. A lot of inventory.
My thing is it's like I don't know what I'm gonna get. Am I gonna I don't know if I'm able to sell everything.
You can get manifested pallets to where you know what you're getting. They usually cost more because it's like not a huge risk. It is still a risk, but you can get like a list of every single thing that's coming in the pallet. But you pay for that, right? It's going to be a little bit more than if it's unmanifested, which would mean you don't know what's in it. So just throwing that out there. Christina, so you are going to do, I put people on mute. I'm sorry. So if you're trying to talk, I kept hearing feedback. So I put, let me unmute you. So you're going to try and do 5 a week, right? And you have twins at home. What is your plan of action? Do you have a setup for how you're doing photos and kind of a rhythm? Like, let's walk us through how you're going to do this.
So right now I'm asking for help. So I asked my husband, I have my stepsister, I have my best friend, and I need help to be able to do these things. So usually I try to do it when my twins are asleep, like they're going to sleep through the night. So that's when I'm mostly exhausted myself, but I try my best to at least do photos or try to do research on what's selling. I try to do something like maybe an hour, just dedicated time that I know that I can commit to, because right now it's a little hard because they're still young and they take up a lot of time. But like I said, I try to ask for help, and I'm trying to do something every day, even if it's just an hour, just to start with.
I think that's amazing. One, get some sleep. But I know how it is because that's usually the only time that you have is when they're sleeping. And I can only imagine with twins, because I have 2 littles, they're not twins, but it's like one will sleep good at night and then the other one's up. And then the next night, the other one's sleeping. So I can only imagine with twins, it's like one needs to be fed, but this one's good. Like something always needs to happen, right? I can only imagine. Right.
Always.
But I do think it is, and Megan saying this too, yes, never hesitate to ask for help. I think that is really amazing because it's hard for us sometimes to ask for help. And it's good to be able to do it. And it's good that you have a support system there that is willing to help you. And I think getting into the consistency, even if it is, okay, I watched a YouTube video, that's research, I'm learning, just getting into that consistency and growing and learning and getting there. You got it covered, girl. I'm going to be like, you're going to be asking, or I'm going to be asking you tips in a year when you're like taking over the world.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to ask you guys, because you've all mentioned thrift stores. Well, Liz, you just mentioned wanting to get into a pallet. Where are you guys sourcing right now? Are things open back up? Are you sourcing at thrift stores? Where are you guys sourcing, and where's your inventory coming from?
Yes, I started going to the thrift store. They opened up a few months ago. I did stay away from it for a long time, but I had so much inventory. Like I said, I like to source it, but I don't like to list it. So I had enough inventory to hold me over until I felt comfortable going. The last few times that I've gone, I get to go once a week. Sometimes if I have too much stuff or I feel like I have too much stuff, we'll skip a week. But my teenage daughter goes, and I love taking her because she has a different, look at things. Like something I would pass up, she thinks cool because the younger crowd is wearing it. Like I do a lot of research on styles and new and but we sold a lot of tie-dye and picked up a bunch of tie-dye stuff. And I'm like, I'm not picking that up. But she's like, Mom, this is cool. This is what we're doing. So I did, and it sells. So I like to have her come along, and she helps me out. But the thrift stores have opened up, and that's really what I've been doing. Sometimes when some family members has some clothes, they'll give it to me, or I'll offer to pay, really cheap, and they'll give me a bag of stuff. Some things I can use, some things I can't. But that's how I'm getting my inventory.
Bri, what are you doing? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry, here. Sorry.
So, like she said, the thrift stores are open back up. In the beginning of COVID, I actually had quite a bit of inventory, but I saw that a lot of our friends were low on inventory. And I wasn't in a place where I felt like listing, just emotionally and everything else, and working from home, that dynamic and all that. I was like, I'll just make mystery boxes and sell my stuff off. So I didn't want it just sitting around, and I didn't want our friends to be like, I don't have inventory, I have nowhere to get it from. So I sold it pretty cheap. And so then when stores did start opening back up, I was like, I have nothing to list. I sold everything, not like in my PoshMark closet, but the stuff that I needed to list. And so when they opened, I was like, I waited a little while, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable yet. And then I finally started going back, full mask and everything. I like to go on Mondays because here in Houston, we have 75% off color tag days, which is why I stopped in this afternoon. And then I went back to the bins once not this past week, weekend before. And I was like, it's not bad. There wasn't too many people. So I was like, okay, I feel comfortable being here for a short amount of time. So I did stop back in the bins.
Yeah, how do they do that there? Because I've talked to like various different people, and all of the bins are run slightly different. So what are like the rules? And because the bins, I mean, you're like can be up in someone's face, right? Like, what are the regulations for that? Or were there any?
I don't know. They don't. I mean, not that I've seen, but I've heard some horror stories, like people fighting and pulling stuff out of each other's cart. Nobody that I've ever seen, the few times that I've been to the bins, everybody's been really respectful. And like if you park your cart somewhere to come in for the bin change, nobody's ever touched any of our stuff or any of the other people's stuff. So, I mean, I've not seen any of the things that I've heard about, which is, thank goodness, because I don't want to see that stuff. So they've all been really super respectful of each other. So,
and they don't have like our bins, you have a 2-hour. I have not been since they opened back up. This is all what I've heard. So take it for a grain of salt. But our bins, there's a 2-hour limit, and you can only stand in front of, and this is post-COVID, right? So you can only stand in front of the bin. Like there's only one person in front of the bin, and then you have to rotate around. And there's like, there's a lot of rules and regulations that I'm like, so you can only be there for 2 hours, but it sounds like you can probably only really shop for like an hour of those 2 hours. That I'm like, that just sounds like the bins are already chaotic, that all of those rules for COVID just sounds. So I haven't been back yet.
Yeah, I just went the once.
Megan is saying my bins are so much better than they used to be with social distancing. They weren't bad to begin with though. And I actually had an NCI resells. Is that his name? Nick? Do you know who I'm talking about? No, nothing. Yeah. I had him on when the bins had just started opening up. And he actually preferred it because there was only one person at a time, and you could like, it was much more regulated, that he was like, if you got a good bin, you were like money, you weren't having to fight with other people. So Christina, do you guys have bins? You're in California, Ontario. Is that right? Did I remember it? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry. There you go.
It's okay. Yeah, you got it right. We have a lot of bins. I haven't been to the bins since I given birth to my twins. I go for the Dollar Day on Thursday. That's my thing. Like, I can't miss a Dollar Day. I just love going. Like, that's just fun in my little outlet that I do. But yeah, but I hear that the bins, they do have a lot of new like rules, and a lot of people are waiting to get in, and there's a line. So I'm like, I don't have time for that right now. But I just do my good old Dollar Days.
Can't beat that. We used to have, so I'm in Colorado, and we get a lot of resellers, and I think they're starting to catch on. There used to be stores that had Dollar Days, and they quit doing it. They do 50% off, but there's so many resellers that by the time it gets to the 50% off color, I mean, you can still find stuff, because I usually go on 50% off day just because that's usually the only day that I can make it. Okay. And also their prices get really high. But that was my side tangent. So let's get into, we are wrapping up, getting close to the hour. I knew that we would have a zillion things to talk about. So thank you guys so much for sharing all of your knowledge and your perspectives. I love these chats so much, because everyone comes with a different perspective, a different place in life. And I think it's really amazing that you are willing to share it with us. So thank you for that. And everyone in the chat as well. Thank you guys for joining and sharing your experiences and your knowledge with the chat as well. Like I said, this is going to be a podcast, so you guys can hop over and listen to it while you're listening if you would rather listen on the podcast than look at us while you're listening. No, the podcast, and it's actually valid. The podcast you can play in the background, where YouTube, if you close it out, then it gets closed out, right? I've done that too many times to count. So Bri, we'll just start full circle. Why don't you let us know what I'm trying to unmute you. Let us know what your goals are for the week. I think you touched on it a little bit, but maybe go into a little bit more detail how you're going to hit on those goals this week.
So I will be listing every day. That's my goal. And to make that happen, like I said, I'll pull my 10 or however many I can, running low. So however many I can do a day divided by between today through Friday. And I'll just pull each day's listings the night before, and then bring them downstairs and work them during lunch or whenever I have time during the day, and then come up after work and do my photography and editing and list those while I sit on the couch and watch TV. So
sounds amazing. And I wish you all the sales. And one more time, she is Heels on the Gym on Instagram, so follow her there. And that's your PoshMark closet too, right? So that's everywhere. Okay. And definitely, if you guys have questions for them too, we are wrapping up, but if you do have questions, feel free to leave them in the chat, or if you're watching this in the recording, you can leave it in the comments down below. And if it's a general question, I can answer it. If it's something specific, I will make sure that they hear of it. All right, Liz, so what are your goals this week?
Goals is going to be to continue to list like 5 to 6 items a day, and then bump it up to 7 or 8, probably by Saturday. And I am going to look into the liquidation boxes. I have to finish my research on that. Not that I'm going to jump on it, right? But I'm going to do some more research on that. And I have a bag full of clothes that I want to try for the first time, taking it to a buy-sell trade store to see how that works, see how they pay out, if it's worth it. I know it's like trendy clothes. It's like a Plato's closet. We have one here in town that's nearby. So I want to try to see if it pays out. I've never been. I know a lot of videos that they do that. They get stuff in the bins and take it over there, and they make a good profit. So just like another source of income coming in for reselling, and I can flip it fast and spend money on something that I really want to sell.
It could actually be a really good source of income for you, because you like the shopping and not the listing, right? And so and I will say, because I have done it here and there, and I usually do it for stuff that hasn't sold and I'm just sick of looking at, because you don't make what you would make listing it, because they still have to, like, they want to make what you would make listing it, essentially, right? But if you get it at a low cost, if you're getting it from the bins and stuff, you can usually make at least a couple bucks, maybe slightly more, $5 to $10, depending on what it is. but then you're making that money fast and you don't have to list it. So if you like the shopping,
Right.
yeah.
I do.
And I do have friends too who will take bin stuff and then just get their money back that pays for the trip. So anything that they list is all profit, right?
Right.
Buy, sell, trade.
Right. And y'all talk about the bins, and I have been to the bins one time, and I drugged my husband with me, and it scared me. People were running, and it was so scary.
Like when a new bin comes out?
No, because they didn't even, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for them to roll something out, but it was like, this was like back in July. So we were kind of around that Houston area. So we're like, let's swing by. And it was just like, you know, spontaneous that we went, and he was with me, and I'm like, come on, let's go. And we had to wait in line. When we went in, people started running. And my husband's like, I didn't know whether to run out or run in. It was scary. Yeah, but I was waiting for them to roll out some bins, but they never did. It's like they were open for 2 hours and they would shut down and then bring more bins out and then shut down again. It was just like every 2 hours they would kick you out for like 30 minutes. So we just stayed there for like an hour and a half and we left.
Did you find yourself though?
It's not what I thought it was. And I don't think I would ever go back.
Did you find anything good, or why wouldn't you go back? Do tell.
I found just like a few things, but to me, it wasn't worth it. And it's kind of like a 30-minute drive for me. So it just wasn't worth it.
That's kind of how I am a huge proponent for something different works for everybody. Y'all are watching my channel, so you know that I like numbers, like no surprise there. And I follow my data, and bins for me, like my profit on bins is lower because I do find that sometimes I'm like, I buy more stuff at the bins because I'm like, well, it's only 75 cents. Right. Like stuff I would never pay for at a thrift store. I'm like, it's the bins. Like, so I'm not making as much, and it can be very time consuming, right? I'm busy. It sounds like you guys are all busy as well. That I would prefer to be like, cool, I have 30 minutes. Let me go look at the jeans and walk out with a bunch of jeans or the shoe or like whatever I want to look at where the bins. But then I watch YouTube videos of bins hauls and I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to the bins. Like
sometimes I wonder if that's fake because that was not my experience.
I don't know. And you guys can tell your opinions too. I don't know. I mean, I don't know all of the resellers. The resellers I know that do bins hauls, it's not necessarily fake, but they definitely, they only show you the good stuff, right? They're not going to be
real.
Right. They're like, I'm not going, I spent, the past 3 days at the bins and here's the 15 things that I got, like it's hard. And they show you the really good stuff because that's what people want to see, right? No one wants to see like your crappy haul. So I don't know that from the people that I know, I don't know that it's fake, but it's social media, right? And so you see the aspect that they want you to see. So I think they really got it there, but maybe over the course of like a 12-hour day, right? Or something. All of the other stuff that didn't do well. Margaret is saying, yes, my latest YouTube video is about it. She's talking about consignment. Take it back a step. Liz had mentioned trying to buy, sell, trade in a consignment store. I post a lot about it on IG too. Major part of my business model. So she is active on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is also her Instagram name. So if you guys have more questions about that, and she's on YouTube, so that's her YouTube. You can ask her questions on that. I don't use it as a business model so much as getting rid of old stuff that I'm sick of looking at because I don't mind listing because I pay someone. That's why I don't mind it, because I don't do it. I don't mind taking the photos, I should say that. And so it's hard for me to get rid of stuff and be like, oh, you only paid $3 for that. I know I can sell that on eBay for $60, right? So if you do go there, just be mindful of that. Be ready to like give it away for much less than you would be able to sell it for. And then Christina, I don't know if you have anything to add. You did mention what you're going to be working on this week. You're going to be spending an hour a week and trying to get 5 out a week. Yes, 5 out a week. So,
and then once I do that, then definitely add more. And then I also I do thread up, but it's so funny because I just sent in 6 boxes to thread up, and then that change happened, and I'm like, are you serious? So yeah, I'm still gonna work with thread up and see what happens with that. But yeah, yeah, we'll see.
So happy. Well, this is, I mean, it's interesting that you brought that up because there was, so for those who aren't into social media, all the mishaps that happened this week on ThreadUp, they have a payout system, and you can price your stuff up to 80% of retail. And then they went in and changed that to where it was significantly less. I think at most it was 50% here and there. And they changed it for probably, I don't know, 2 hours maybe. And they got so many people like, what is going on? That they changed it. Yeah. So then they changed it back with the disclaimer of, essentially, this is our business. We can do what we want. We are going to do things in the future, but we will maybe notify you, hopefully, is kind of the context that I got. Did I sum that up well enough, Christina, or was there anything else? Okay.
No, you got it right. Yeah.
So currently, you can still do it.
You
go
can
ahead.
still do it right now, yes. But in the future, sending items, I don't know how that's going to work, But, I mean, it's going, because I have 6 boxes that I sent, and 4 has actually been processed, and I was able to change the prices on those. So it's good so far.
I'll be interested to see how it goes. I just got on the bandwagon because I had Chriselle on my channel a couple months ago, and I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, I was like, fine, I'll do this. And I feel like as a content creator too, like it's kind of big in the reselling community that I'm like, I at least need to like do it to have my perspective on it. So
yeah.
You guys will see. I finally got payouts. This week I finally got payouts. So in probably my next what sold video, you'll start seeing some ThreadUp in my perspective of ThreadUp. It's different for everybody, but I think hopefully it stays the same, Christina. I think that could probably be really, really good for you because it's so hard to juggle and you don't have to do all of it. Leslie, see, this is why I love our community. Something different works for everybody. You have to figure out what works for you. I don't know, girls. Most of my closet is bins finds. I love going, but it is 3 hours away. A bin stuff sells. I mean, it does.
It does.
The bins is our number one place. This is Leslie to source. I love her new photo. I just love it. It brings me like, she's just so happy. We have been sourcing here for 8 years. It's well worth the time. You have to try more than one time. I make money. That's why I go. It's all mood. Yeah, sometimes you'll like really kill it, and sometimes you won't. I like when they rolled out shoes at our bins, and they weren't. I've heard they're not doing shoes again. And sometimes it's gross. I mean, am I the only one who's put my hand in there and like something has come out that's not? Yeah, okay. That's not enjoyable to me.
Even pre-COVID, we all had our sanitizer in the car. So as soon as we walked outside, we're like,
oh, for sure. And I would take a shower as soon as I got home from the bins. Like it was like the kids would be like, "Mom," I'm like, "Do not touch me."
And I wash all the clothes that come from the bins. They all get washed. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
no,
yeah, for sure. So Margaret is saying, and I think this is important to always be aware of what's going on. So for ThreadUp, she's saying, I'm meeting with the local consignment store to try that out in case ThreadUp goes south. It's smart to know. I feel like I'm too late to the bandwagon, so we'll see if I just sent in another box though, so we'll see. So we are wrapping up. I would like to share my goals because my show and I get to do what I want. So my goals. My goals for the week are actually, I mean, kind of reselling, but I've gotten my reselling to where it's pretty self-sufficient. I'm spending about 10, maybe 15 hours a week on reselling activities, and I really want to focus on the other aspects of my business. That was my plan pre-COVID, actually, because all of my children were going to be in school this fall. So I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to have so much time. Well, that's changed. And now they're all home. So I have no time. So that is still in the business plan, but it's just going to take me a little bit longer. But things that I've been working on, and I'm hoping to wrap up. So I've been working on a course to help people look at their data. If you have you don't have to have the dashboard. It's just a general how to look at data analytics, what numbers matter, why I look at these numbers, that kind of stuff. Of course, it's in beta testing right now because I do want to make sure that it is perceived and easy to access the way that I want it to. So it is in beta testing. I'm hoping that'll wrap up in the next week or two, and then I can get it out there. And then the other thing, I've been wanting to add a couple charts to my dashboard. So I worked on that a little bit today, to the sales and trends dashboard, things that I've been wanting. So I'm updating that. And then if you have the sales and trends dashboard, I will send it out to everyone who has it. I'm assuming if they're charts and graphs that I want, everybody else would be interested in seeing them as well. So if you do have the dashboard, look for the sales and trends dashboard. Look for an email update about that when I worked on it today. We'll see when it actually gets fully finished because I am a mom of 3. But hopefully I'm hoping to wrap that up today as well. And then I'm trying to ramp up my YouTube. That's kind of where my main focus is going to be. Learning YouTube. I mean, reselling, you have to learn different platforms, right? And so I'm kind of taking that aspect with YouTube, learning their SEOs, how the algorithm works, how that, I feel like I mastered PoshMark and eBay. Now I just need to take a different mindset and work on YouTube. It's been very much back burner. I put out some content, but don't put a lot of time into how the algorithm and the analytics actually work. And spending more time putting out content. So I'm really hoping to ramp up how many videos you guys are seeing a week and stuff like that. So those are kind of my big things. None of them, I mean, they're all connected to reselling, but I'm kind of in maintenance mode right now. Things are moving. I'm listing consistently and all of that. So I want to kind of work on some other aspects of the business. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram today, but I had a good week. I had a good weekend. And I was telling my husband that I'm to the point that I don't want to sell more. It sounds terrible, but I don't want to sell more without help. And this is where I think resellers start getting employees, and I start to dread shipping after about 10-ish items a day. As terrible as that sounds. And my husband's like, you're a reseller. You want to make, you want sales. It's like, yeah, but I also want to enjoy this. And shipping's 10 items a day is okay, but I don't want to spend 3 hours shipping. I want to make a YouTube video. So I'm kind of in maintenance mode for my reselling. It sounds awful. I don't mean it to sound as awful as it does. Hopefully it makes sense. But I'm kind of, leveling out with the reselling, not necessarily growing it, and then working on other aspects of my business. So that's it. If you guys have any, definitely follow. Christina, you can't do the chat. Tell me your Instagram, your public one.
It's Peace, LUV, resell, RESELL.
Okay. On Instagram. Okay. Because yours isn't in the Instagram. And those of you, so Liz, Rye, and Christina, you guys can come back and feel free to leave your actual links in the comments down below so people can have access directly to you. That's it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I love talking to new people or seeing people that I talk to via text all the time, live in person. Like I said, this is a weekly accountability call. So if you do, I do it every single week, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard, and then it'll go on my podcast the following week because I need time to upload it. But so this is every single week. If you would like to come on, just send me a DM and I will set up a time for you to come on and we just chat and have a wonderful time. So thank you guys so much and have a good night.
Right.